Hello my beautiful friends, it's Amanda here, and today we're talking about a new palette from Nomad Cosmetics. This is the Santa's Village palette, and I know it's going to be hard not to be distracted during this video by this beautiful Northern Lights packaging that is so colorful and shiny and iridescent. I have been very distracted by this packaging today. I want to give you the rundown on this very festive 9-pan palette. We have a sort of traditional Christmas color scheme mixed with some cool wintry Northern Lights type of tones. It's an interesting twist on the traditional Christmas colors, and the packaging kind of follows suit on that. By the time I get this video finished, this palette should be already available. I'm guessing that the price point on this palette is going to be $29 US. That is what the other 9-pan palette currently available on their site is priced at, so that's where my guess comes from. Depending on if there's some difference in formulas, this may be a little more or less. This will be available on November 1st, and according to the Nomad Cosmetics Instagram post, this is a pretty limited edition product. So I don't think this is going to be around for long. I don't know if they'll do a restock or not, but they made it known on their Instagram that this is a pretty limited product. I want to give you as much useful information as I possibly can. We're going to do close-ups, swatches. I have a couple of comparisons for you. I'm also going to show you how I created this look that I'm wearing today with this Santa's Village palette. So let's start first with a close-up of the palette packaging, and then we'll work our way through the swatches and comparisons. Here's the palette inside the outer box. There is a little cutout window here, so I wanted to show you what this looks like actually inside the box. There's lots of information on the back, including a little reassurance here that it is cruelty-free and vegan, and this palette is supporting the Finnish Association for Nature Conservation. Now, when you slide the palette out here, you can see that little peekaboo window has a little Santa's Village vignette. It's very cute. I really like this. It's very festive, and the outer packaging of the palette itself is much less Christmas referential and a lot more Northern Lights looking, with this iridescent finish that shifts and shimmers as you move the palette around. And then when you open up inside, we're back to more of a Christmas reference feeling. There is a little mirror inside, of course, and then in the background you see the little Santa's Village house, candy canes, little sparkly snow and stars, and then the 4 matte shades have little Santa Claus prints sort of stamped into that powder. So 4 matte shades and then 5 shimmer shades. All of these shimmers are a very sparkly, iridescent topper type of finish. You'll see from the swatches, these are not a bold, metallic, foily type of shimmer, and I'm going to go more in depth about these after you see the whole palette swatched. Now, I'll tell you, my initial reaction to this color story when I first opened up the palette and when I first put all the swatches together was that it felt weirdly disjointed, like 2 ideas had just sort of been smashed together. But I will say, the more that I have experimented with mixing the toppers and the matte shades together, the more it sort of comes together for me. When I see these swatches here, it just feels a little flat. The swatches don't look very impressive. The colors seem a little bit odd together. But I will show you some swatches where I apply these shimmery topper shades in different ways. So for example, you'll get to see the shade just finger swatched, and then the next one is swatched with a dampened brush, and then the third swatch in the trio is mixed over one of the matte shades. So here we can see the RUDOLPH topper with a finger swatch, a damp brush, and then over one of the matte shades. I wanted to give you an idea of how you can manipulate these shimmery topper type shades because they really don't look very impressive on first swatch, but when they're mixed, particularly with the matte shades, I think that's really, forgive my pun, but how they shine their best. You can achieve a more opaque metallic feel with these shades on their own just using a dampened brush. However, if you don't go over and smooth these over with your finger, you can tell the majority of the shades do look a little bit chunky or uneven. Now, these damp brush swatches haven't been smoothed over, and I think you could tell, especially in the first round of swatches, that they do look just a little bit unevenly distributed and they do have kind of that chunky look. But if you go back and smooth these over like you'll see me do in the tutorial, you can achieve a good metallic look on their own, just adding a little dampened brush into the mix. Now, I do want to show you two different comparisons. I first was drawn to this Hudson Valley palette comparison because of that matte red. And those are definitely the really similar shades between these two palettes. Otherwise, I would say these would be good companion palettes, but not really much of a dupe type situation going on. However, once I got to my Whistler palette comparison, I really started to see more similarities. Now, again, I don't think these are exact dupes, but you could definitely do some really, really similar looks with the Whistler Snow Lodge palette if you already have that one in your collection. Obviously, there's not a one-to-one match here, but there are a lot of really similar shades in these two palettes. Now that you've seen this palette swatched and a couple of comparisons, I want to show you a really quick and easy tutorial using the Santa's Village palette. I have a feeling there are going to be a lot of looks with the red and green, so I wanted to do something a little bit different, definitely different for me. I'm not usually a grays, cool tones, iridescent brow bones type of gal, but I ended up creating a look that I really like that feels really different for me, but also really wearable. I'm going to show you how I created this look using the Santa's Village palette, and I'm also going to wrap up all my thoughts on this palette along the way. This palette has really grown on me. Like I mentioned before, my initial reaction was not very good. When I first opened this palette, and especially when I first swatched it, I felt that the color story was disjointed, the shimmers were underwhelming, and I just didn't really understand the direction of this little 9-pan palette. However, the more I've played with it, the more I've experimented with layering these topper shades, and the more I've kind of mixed and matched and layered these shades together, I feel like I'm starting to understand more, and honestly, I'm starting to feel more and more inspired by this little color story. It's still not my favorite Nomad palette by far. Now that I've tried more of their palettes, I feel like I'm gearing up to do a Nomad Cosmetics palette ranking. Let me know if you would be interested in that, because I think that would be really fun. I've been really enjoying seeing their different ideas come to life, and I really feel like this palette showcases a lot of the creativity of the brand. This color story probably isn't for everyone. I know it's not necessarily for me personally. I just would connect with other matte shades particularly. I like the idea of these toppers. They're fun to use. They're fun to layer with the matte shades. I would have loved to see a really, really deep, dark purple matte in here. I do think that the two darker matte shades look a little bit too similar when they're applied to the skin. So I would have loved to see a little deep purple matte in here to kind of convey that deep, dark night sky type of feeling. All in all, I'd say that this Santa's Village palette is in the I like it, but I don't love it category for me. I understand it, but I don't need it category. I do think this is going to be a great, concise, interesting little palette for somebody. It's not really my personal vibe, but I do think it's cute, and the more I play with it, the more I like experimenting with it, and I do really like how my look turned out. That about wraps it up for us with the new Nomad Santa's Village palette. I would love to hear what you think about this. Are you interested? Are you gonna pick it up? Have you already ordered it? If you do decide to order this, I don't have an affiliate code with the Nomad Cosmetics brand, but I think several of my friends do, so I'm gonna link a few affiliate codes down in the description box, just in case you wanna save a couple bucks whenever you're ordering from Nomad. Now's the time when I wanna hear what you think about this palette. Are you interested? Are you picking it up? I always love to hear what you think about things too, so make sure you leave all your thoughts down in the comments below. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye! Christmas, we have, on the, with the Santa's, why? Think it might be time for a new primer, like a new tube. I like this primer, I just need, it's almost gone, that's what I'm saying. This packaging just makes me want purple, and there's not purple in here. Does this smell weird? It just kind of smells like plastic. Come on, don't look like crap. Oh, I forgot to do mascara. Dang it. I know it's not the most avant-garde look, but first of all, when has that ever been my go-to? And also, I feel like everybody's gonna do the red and green. So, you know, I just want to do something different. And I think this is really cute. I would wear this for sure. So, I like it. I'm trying to get a bunch of videos done as quickly as possible because everybody I know is getting this terrible stomach flu, and I'm like convinced that I'm gonna get it and be really, really sick and unable to do anything, which, you know, knock on wood, hopefully that won't happen. We are flu shot, we are take your vitamins type of people in this household, so, but my kid does go to public school, so that's sort of like taking your offspring and dropping them into a petri dish and then swirling them around, you know? It's the way it is. It's just the way it is. So hopefully that doesn't happen and I'm just ahead on content and I have a lot of videos that I really like, but if I do get taken down for a couple days and I am looking and feeling too destroyed to film, then I'll have a couple of videos in my back pocket. Fingers crossed. Way better than I thought it was going to be. I was so nervous when I was putting that gray on my eyes. I was like, oh no. Oh no. But actually with all these little iridescent toppers on it, it's actually really cute. I think it's cute. It's okay if you don't think it's cute. I don't know about the glittery eyeshadow as the highlight. This is not something I will continue doing, but you know, I was just feeling like, let's mix it up. Let's play with some more of these shades. You can't really tell on camera, but if you get close, you can tell. It's just hella glittery, which is not my vibe. I know a lot of people love really sparkly, glittery highlighters, and that is, I love that for you. I hope, may you always have the sparkliest highlighter. It's just not really for me. But you know, I always like trying new things, so here we are, out here living our best makeup lives. It is makeup just for fun, you know? It's not that big a deal, I'll just wipe it off. So fly. Hope you have fun with your makeup today, and I hope you know that I love your face so very much, and I'll just give you a little hug right here. Okay, hug. Okay, I'll see you later. Bye!